In this video, I'll do a more in-depth analysis of Sygna's suits Serena and Zygarde, which is the new Kailux Master Fair, also our first Kailux Master Fair coming to the game. She's a special dragon striker, and her stats are pretty impressive other than defense, special defense, which are kind of bad, but it's not that it's fine. Just bring defense, special defense support, right? Because he's quite self-sufficient, which I will talk about a bit later. So let's talk about the moves first. So for her damaging moves, she has 1000 Waves and Cold Enforcer. One physical, one special. Both are 4 gauge moves and both are AoE. So you can already tell like she can like literally wipe the entire 3 sync press, right? So that is kind of crazy. I will show like a damage comparison with like other sync pairs later at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. Her training moves, she has Direct Hit Plus, right? Just use twice with Max Crit. Few Hour Feelings. It uses 2 gauge, which is very interesting. Not a lot of sync pairs have this, so yeah. And by using this, you plus 6 attack, plus 6 special attack, and then you gradual heal. So in 3 turns, you can literally max out attack, special attack, and crit. So that is cool, and then you can just start doing damage. So yeah, also one thing I want to say is that 1000 Waves can applies the restrain effect, so that is very useful because she has like passive, right? That triggers if your opponent is restrained. So passive skill, she has Kailux Flag Bearer. So basically you power the moves of all your allies by 10%, and the damage you take from the enemy is reduced by 20%. And then for each Kailux teammate you have, your damage will increase by 10%, and you reduce damage from your opponent by 3%. So if you are single Serena and 2 Kailux teammates, you can have a maximum of 30% extra damage, and you will take 26% less damage from your opponent, which is cool, right? This is good for her because she uses both attack and special attack, right? So that's cool. So for her passive, she has Strong Start 1, which is pretty cool. You plus 1 physical move up next effect and special move up next effect when you first enter the battle. It's like a 40% increase in damage, right, for both physical and special, but then you only use it once, so that's kind of sad. And then she also has Start 1, you -1 single countdown when you first enter the battle. I don't really see this as like useful or anything unless you bring another single countdown sync pair, so you can like sync in like 2 turns instead of 3 turns. So yeah. The other passive is Restrain Sync Up, so you get 50% extra damage from your sync move when your target is restrained. So, well, like during the first turn, right, before you sync, you most likely will be buffing your own style, so you won't really have a chance to use restrain unless you bring like a special attack support or like crit support, whatever, right? So you most likely won't do that much damage with the first sync. And then you do want to sync with her, right? Because once she syncs, she becomes the complete form, which is the 100% Zygarde, and all her stats will increase, which is great, right? Which is a lot of increase, right? That's like a whopping 20% increase almost. On top of that, when you sync, her passive changes to Piercing Gaze, which is a very good passive. It means that you won't miss your moves even if your opponent uses evasion, so that is very nice. Impervious, which is also a really good passive. Your stats cannot lower. The last passive is Power Hope 5, so instead of increasing damage from sync, you also increase damage for your regular moves when your target is restrained. Really good. So her passives are very easy to activate. You just have to restrain. Just use 1000 Waves like once and then you can restrain them. And if you're against a ground weak stage, you just have to spam this, right? If it's Dragon Weak stage, then you have to use 1000 Waves once and then use this Cold Enforcer because you have to restrain them to get a damage boost. Let's move on to the Zygarde. So for 1 out of 5 is interesting. She gets MGR 2 for both her moves, which is it's pretty good actually. 1 out of 5 she can still do good damage actually. Mainly because of her passive. This 50% increase is a lot, right? 1 out of 5 still works, but if you want to like do big damage, if you want to like sync nuke as well. The sync nuke is not the best, but still pretty good. Then you wanna get brain power here. So 2 out of 5. 2 out of 5, you get another MGR here. And then you get Sand Shelter, which I don't know. I don't think you wanna use her in Sand. You do get Sense of Time, but like you don't even get like any damage multiplier for Sand. So I don't see why you wanna do that. And then you get 1000 waves MPR 4, which is pretty good. You get this MPR, no. Training move MPR, not necessary. Actually, no, don't take it because you're gonna max out anyways. Now for 3 out of 5, you get some good stuff, right? Get Soften Up 1. I don't think it's really useful. It's a waste of energy, honestly. Super Sync Up, it's maybe you can consider that, but like it's also a waste of energy. And then Brain Power. Brain Power is really good. You get a +6 special attack, you get like 100% more damage, which is very good. And it's extremely easy to activate this. You just have to +6 special attack from your trainer move. Very easy. Rejuvenate 6, I don't think it's useful. I mean, when you become complete form, the speed is very high. I don't think you need that, even though it's 4 gauge move. You also get Status Immunity, which can be useful depending on the stage, right? Status conditions cannot be inflicted on the user. Pretty good. Super effective too, also pretty good, right? And then Bogo 9. You only use this once. I don't see this as being useful. Sing Damage Guard can be useful, but only one time as well. So maybe not. Oh yeah, I think I forgot to talk about Hold Hostage 1. This is also pretty good. 10% increase may not seem a lot, right? 10%. The damage is already very high. 10% means even higher. Because like, for example, if it's 1000 damage, you only increase by 100. If it's 10,000 damage, you increase by 1000. That's a pretty big difference there. Now for her grid, this is a dragon build. Dragon and a Core Enforcer and new grid. So I have like Hold Hostage 1, Super Duper Effective 2 and both Sync power-ups and Brain Power. Damage is a lot. So this is the grid I think is good. And it's also very easy to set up. You just have to be effective, super effective against Dragon Weak stages, and then Restrain +6 special attack. Very easy. So this is the other build for ground type, right? For the ground damage with 1000 waves. So it's pretty much kind of the same. I just didn't take Brain Power and Sync because you're gonna use ground DPS anyways, right? I have 2 MGR here, so yeah. Super Duper Effective 2 is still there, and we take some power-ups. And yeah. Well, you still have to sync with her, right? Sadly. Because you have to sync to get Power Hold 5 to power up your damage, right? So the 6-star EX buff won't really work here. But then you can sync 50-star EX support on the second sync, right? To get like +3 sync buffs, right? So you can do that. Since you're not taking like Brain Power and Sync nodes, right? You can just sync with Serena first, second sync with a 6-star EX support, and then you after that just spam 1000 waves and she's gonna do big damage. So let's compare them, right? We do have to compare them to see like if she's actually good or not. So I make this like little table thing to compare, and first glance Serena does more damage, right? But then you have to remember that Maxi has super effective up next in his grid. So Maxi in the end does more damage. I wouldn't say consistently, but like overall he would do more damage. Like he can activate it like every other turn, like it's a 50% chance. This is also not the maximum damage Serena and Maxi can do, because I only put 10% for Kailux Flag Bearer and 20% for Hoenn Pride. I'm just assuming that you don't bring like Kailux or Hoenn Zinpair onto your team. And if we put this to 50%, put this to 30%, Maxi is gonna do even more damage. So yeah, ground damage, Maxi is still king. Now for Cynthia, sadly she's not as good. She's not like the top ground type DPS Zinpair anymore, right? But she's still good. The only problem with her when you compare Cynthia with Serena and Maxi is that Cynthia is more difficult to set up, right? She cannot even max out her own attack, she cannot max out her own crit. You need support to max out both of them. She also cannot max out her own speed, so you also need speed support to activate ramming speed. You need Sandstorm user as well. She's not super self-sufficient, right? On the other hand, when you look at Serena and Maxi, Serena can easily restrain them with 1000 waves, right? Super Duper Effective 2, easy to activate as well. Maxi as well, Sun, he can summon Sun, right? Easy. Super effective 1 is also easy. Super effective up next, also easy, right? You just have to spam Precipice Blades, and boom, big damage. Now, just some interesting stuff I want to show you guys. If you convert them to per gauge, Cynthia actually does more than Serena, right? Just a little bit, right? I mean, you can technically say it's about the same. And Maxi still does like a lot of damage per gauge. And just remember that Serena is way easier to set up than Cynthia. This is the same grade I use for them. You can copy them or something, up to you, right? So Maxi has this Super Sun 4, which is the super effective next thing, 50% chance to activate it every time you hit. So that is why like Maxi is overall very good. Still the strongest ground DPS. To be fair, we don't have a lot of ground DPS sync pair, so that is sad. Now, if we compare the DPS of Dragon DPS, so I'm comparing with Sygna Cynthia as well as Cyrus. I'm not comparing her with Lucas because Lucas is attack first of all. He also has Dragon Zone, so that's gonna complicate a bit of things. So I'm just gonna compare with Dragon Strikers. As you can see, Serena does like crap ton of damage, a lot of damage. Remember Cyrus cannot do AoE, right? And then both Cynthia and Serena can do AoE. So for Serena, also literally the same passive activates here, right? Power Hold 5, Hold Hostage 1, Super Duper Effective 2. I also put this as 10%, again assuming no Kailux teammates. And then for Sygna Cynthia, sadly she only has one passive in her grid. Paralysis Synergy 2. And that is all. It's very sad. Cyrus has Critical Strike 9 for his passive, which is very good. Ramming speed in his grid. Now, when you compare like how well they can activate the passive, Serena again incredibly easy to activate. Cynthia, you need a paralysis sync pair. You also need a crit support and special attack support. So yeah, that kind of sucks. Cyrus just needs a crit support, right? He can max out his own special attack and speed. I mean, Cyrus can even max out his own crit with critical focus 1 in his grid. Now, if we convert that to per gauge, Serena is still the queen of this, right? Still a lot of damage. Cyrus actually has higher per gauge than Cynthia, which is kind of sad. But again, you kind of have to remember that Cyrus cannot do AoE. And yeah, overall, Serena still crazy DPS. You may wonder like why I didn't include like Dragon Zone in this, because you know this is a comparison. If I include Dragon Zone for all 3 of them, the damage are gonna cancel out each other, right? 50%, so it's pretty much the same thing. I mean, I guess you can argue that Serena can bring Lucas as well because she's very self-sufficient, right? For Cynthia you need like a lot of support for her. Cyrus, you need maybe crit support. Now let's compare like the sync nuke damage. So for sync nuke, Serena still the queen of this. Again, I'm only comparing striker. So for the passive, right, also incredibly easy to set up. Power Hold 5, you just have to restrain. Brain Power, you just have to get plus 6 which attack. Easy. Cynthia, you have to paralyze, which is not that bad, right? You can probably spam Dragon Breath or something, or just bring paralysis support. And then we have Cyrus. Cyrus has more damage than Cynthia. For Cyrus, he has Crit Strike 9 and 2 Catastrophe 2 in his grid. And yeah, for Cyrus it's very easy to set up, you just max crit. Cynthia a bit difficult, but in the end, Serena still has like more damage in them. Again, not including Dragon Zone. So the grid I use for both DPS and Sync are the same, right? It's like kind of like a hybrid build, right? With Brain Power, Sync, Super Duper Effective 2, Cynthia as well with Paralysis Synergy 2, Static Shock 5, Cyrus with Ramming Speed and Catastrophe, right? So kind of like a hybrid build for them, since their nukes are Dragon type, their DPS Dragon type, so it makes sense to put all the Dragon stuff. Now, here comes the question: should you summon Sygna, Serena, and Zygarde? Short answer: yes, please do. Long answer: yes, please do. So she, first of all, is a master sync pair, and at the time of recording this video, there has yet to have a single master pair rerun, right? Leon has been released for like over a year now. He still hasn't even rerun yet. Kinda sad. So if you don't get her now, you probably have to wait at least a year to get her. On top of that, she has strong Dragon Nuke. Not the best Dragon Nuke, but still strong. Probably the best Dragon DPS. Almost best ground DPS. Also very self-sufficient. So if you don't have a single ground type striker, like for example if you don't have Cynthia or Maxi, this is a no-brainer. Definitely go for her. Now even if you have Cynthia and Maxi, I still think you should go for her. Again, she's the Master Fair. So yeah, overall, she is very good, very strong, very self-sufficient. She will do a lot of damage, and yeah,